Partly cloudy skies, a sunny day, temperatures in the 80s for another Braves spring training affair. Today, your Atlanta Braves play host to the Houston Astros here at Champion Stadium. Great to be with you. Mike Morgan alongside former Atlanta Brave Brian Jurrjens. So many storylines throughout spring training on the field. We cover those for you. And earlier this week, the biggest one off the field was dropped when Chipper Jones announced this would be his final season in a big league uniform. And Brian, as a former teammate of Chipper, obviously big news for everybody.
Well, it was huge news. I'm just, it was so honorable for him to announce his retirement before the season. For one, it gives Frank Wren and the organization a chance to really plan for the future. He announces his retirement on Thursday, and on Friday he announces that he's having surgery on his torn left meniscus. Team doctor Marvin Boyster, he will perform surgery on Monday. And the positive thing to that is, hopefully he'll get the surgery done and he'll be healthy most of the way in the season.
Well, in the meantime, that'll pave the way for Martin Prado to get some more work over at third base. He's having a terrific spring, and he's such a versatile player.
Very positive player, and that's the big thing that Freddie loves. He's versatile. He can play anywhere in the infield, anywhere in the outfield, and when you need him, he can do it all. I talked to him before batting practice, and the thing that he said to me, Brian, I don't care where I play, as long as I'm out there contributing and helping his team win.
Meanwhile, on the mound today for the Braves, it's Jurrjens. It was a tale of two halves of the season last year for Jair. When you look at it so far this spring, he has been struggling, and Jair tells us it's very important for him personally to get off to a good start.
When you first pitch, you don't hit your spot, because usually a lot of leadoff men is going to take the first pitch, and that's the pitch you try to make a location, and you miss with that, you're like, oops, it's going to be a grinding one, it's going to be a tough one. Then that's where you need to really strap it up and battle and try to keep your team in the game and try to save the bullpen up.
Jurrjens had an all-star campaign last season. We know the Braves bullpen is going to be very good, but for the starting rotation, Brian, Jurrjens really needs to come up big in 2012.
Well, he has to come up big. He was terrific in the first half of last season, but when you have a knee injury for a pitcher, especially a meniscus in your left knee, all that pounding you're coming down on, the one thing that Jair has to get over is the mental part of this game. And I talked to him earlier today, and he said, right now, Brian, it's not about my arm. I feel great. It's about the mental part of my game. I don't want to ever feel that pain again, and he's trying to make some adjustments. And right now, those adjustments are not working. He gave up 6 earned runs versus Detroit on his last outing. Hopefully, he'll bounce back and have a great day.
Everybody would love to see that from the Braves side, no doubt about it. Jurrjens towing the rubber for the Braves. It'll be the Duke, the veteran Zach Duke, for the Astros, playing their final year in the National League. First pitch and the starting lineups are coming up next. Today's Braves spring training game is brought to you by VisitFlorida.com. Unleash your Florida side at VisitFlorida.com. We are here at Champion Stadium in Lake Buena Vista, Florida, site of Walt Disney World, here in Central Florida. Another beautiful day weather-wise. There were some clouds overhead earlier. They've kind of gotten out of the way. The sun now shining brightly on the beautiful surface here at Champion Stadium. Temperatures starting off at 78. We expect to get into the mid-80s later on. Small chance of rain, but I think we should be okay for the next few hours or so. Reminder, you can catch this game not only on CSS, but also on CSS High Definition Television. All of our Braves broadcasts here in spring training are available in HD, so check your local listings to make sure you get the ball game in high definition. Mike Morgan alongside Brian Jordan as we get ready for the Astros and the Braves. The Astros coming in at 11-9, and this is the starting lineup. Let's face it, folks, this is a rebuilding year of sorts for Houston. They are trying to cut some payroll. A lot of changes going on. New ownership getting ready to go to the American League. Some of the names you might recognize, others you will not. Bixler, Moore, Buck, Downs, Johnson, Castro, Ruggiano, who we saw last year in the American League. Marwin Gonzalez is the starting shortstop. And you will recognize that name at the bottom of the lineup, the veteran left-hander Zach Duke, who is battling for the number 5 spot in the Houston Astros rotation. Carlos Lee not getting the start today. That is still the face of the franchise, although he has just 1 year remaining under his contract in Houston. And they'll be facing off against Atlanta Braves right-hander Jurrjens. What an interesting year it was for this young man last season. You could make the case that he should have started the All-Star game. Nobody had a better first half than Jurrjens. Then the second half had some injuries, really struggled. Finished the year 13-6, a 2.96 earned run average. He has struggled mightily this spring. He's looking for his first win. And no question, everybody would like to see Jurrjens have a good start today, have something positive, Brian, to build on for the start of the regular season. No question about it. His ERA is up over 10. He's given up 6 earned runs his last outing. But the one thing I can say about Jair, and because I had a knee injury, I had the meniscus tear, and I know how painful that is, and that's a pain that I know Jair remembers from last year, and he's hoping he never feels that pain again. He did not have surgery in the offseason. All he did was rehab it, and so far he says it feels good, but I know he's trying to make some adjustments mentally so he, will kind of alleviate some of that pounding on the knee, and obviously it's not working so far. So hopefully he'll just let it go, get the mental side of it out of his mind, and gets back to that first half Jair we remember from last year. And really, if you go back to 2009, he was terrific. Had a 2.60 earned run average. He's a guy that when he's on can be one of the top pitchers around the National League. We'll see which Jurrjens we see today. Our umpiring crew led by Eric Lovelace behind home plate. Lance Barksdale, Sean Barber, Sam Holbrook working the bases. Brian Bixler will dig in, the starting center fielder. Jurrjens zeroes in on Brian McCann behind home plate. First pitch is a fastball strike, and we are underway here from Central Florida. Well, it's going to be a good day. He got that first pitch over for a strike, so mentally he's feeling good right now. You heard him in his interview before the game. That first pitch is so important. Bixler swinging at the second offering and fouls it away 0-2. Jurrjens 0-2 this spring with an ERA of over 10. Jair came over to the Braves a few years ago in the Edgar Renteria deal. Was with the Detroit Tigers organization. One ball, 2 strikes, the count on Bixler. Originally, when that deal was made, everybody was wondering what is going on. Why do you make that trade? And didn't take long. Jair quickly made an impact, and people were happy with that trade. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 1 up, 1 down in a good way as Jair goes to work on the top of the Astros order. It's a good off-speed pitch by Jair. He set him up with that high fastball the pitch before, elevated his eyesight, and then he went with that slider down and away. Scott Moore, the lefty, the starting second baseman, into the batter's box. They play him straight up and straight away.
Fastball strike, good velocity. You can hear the pop in the mitt from up here.
Right now, Jai is showing good command. I know it's just a second batter, but he's hitting his spots.
Ripped foul. Been an interesting career for Jurrjens. His first full season came with the Braves back in 2008. Very effective, an ERA of 3.68. 2009, he really put up all-star numbers. Didn't make the actual game, but a 2.60 ERA. Then an off year in 2010, ERA over 4.5. And then last year again, great first half, bad second half. That one close. McCann framed it, but Eric Lovelace would not ring him up.
That was a pretty good pitch. Too close to take if I'm the hitter.
Rounder up the middle. Ugla bobbles it, and that'll be an error. And on that note, we introduce the Atlanta Braves defense, which is normally a little bit more sure-handed than what we just saw. Defensively in the outfield, Diaz, Bourne, and Peraz trying to make the club. Up the middle, it'll be Pasternicki and Ugla. At the corners, Martin Prado filling in for Chipper Jones. Freddie Freeman, so good with the glove at first, and Brian McCann, the backstop.
We're not used to seeing this. Dan Ugla actually played excellent defense last year at second base with the help of his former teammate, Mr. Gonzalez, who was in Milwaukee. And I think he fed off the energy of Gonzalez last year and really improved his defense, making some great plays. And that slow roller right there, you almost have to charge it. And he let that ball play him.
0-1 pitch, low and in.
Great job by Brian McCann digging that ball out of the dirt.
Something I like already about Jurrjens in this inning. He's faced 3 batters, all 3 a first pitch strike.
Getting ahead of hitters, getting ahead of the hitters, and that's so important in the success of all these starting pitchers. You see Mike Minor having a terrific spring.
Buck skies one to left center. Bourne waits on it and makes the grab at the lip of the track.
We were talking about the success Mike Minor's having in spring, and he's going strike one to every hitter. And to me, that contributes to a lot of his success, getting ahead of the hitters, setting them up for his pitch.
Now Matt Downs, the first baseman. Downs hitting 185 on the year. This Astros club had little to celebrate last season, lost over 100 games. And the expectation level this year maybe a little bit better, but not much. Cut and a miss there by Downs. Another beautiful pitch by Jurrjens, breaking ball. Jurrjens fastball that'll sit in the upper 80s. He'll hit the low 90s from time to time, but he's not a power pitcher. He's at his best when he's getting ground balls. Good sink on his fastball. Lofted to center. Bourne with a few steps to his right, and he puts it away for out number 3. So no hits, no runs, 1 error. Good looking inning number 1 for Jurrjens. Braves coming up after this. Florida on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Mike Morgan, Brian Jordan. Braves and Astros scoreless. Bottom of the first coming up with Atlanta hitting, led by that man Freddie Gonzalez, now in his second year as the Braves skipper. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for your Atlanta Braves. It'll be Michael Bourne now in his first full season with Atlanta. trying to put together another great season as a leadoff man, hitting .268 in the spring. Martin Prado's been terrific. He leads the Grapefruit League in base hits, hitting .358. McCann in the 3-hole. Dan Uggla will clean up for the Bravos. Freeman, Peraz, Diaz, Pasternicki, who's come on here of late, and the pitcher Jurrjens batting ninth. And they'll be going up against Zach Duke. And if you've been following Major League Baseball, particularly the National League, you're very familiar with the name Zach Duke. Zach Duke kind of burst onto the scene a few years ago in Pittsburgh. He was the National League Rookie of the Month and looked really good for a while. Seemed like Pittsburgh had a guy they could really pencil in their rotation for maybe several years to come. But since then, he's really kind of fallen off a cliff, quite frankly. He has struggled the last few years in different spots, and now he's just battling to make it as the number 5 starter in this Houston rotation.
Well, he got off to a fantastic start in Pittsburgh and had such a nasty changeup. It took time for players to adjust, but once they adjusted, he didn't have that second pitch to go to, and that's why, you know, his career kind of has gone downhill.
Duke ready to go to work on Michael Bourne, and already the corners playing shallow. Third baseman Johnson 10 feet in front of the bag. This one toward the gap in left center, but there to make the play is Ruggiano for out number 1.
I like the aggressiveness of Michael Bourne. A lot of times pitchers expect him to take that first pitch, and we've seen one of the greatest leadoff hitters do it. Ricky Henderson, he'll sneak you on that first pitch and hit it a long way, and Mike Bourne, good drive to left field. But way to set the tone for this offense.
This offense this spring has been led primarily by this guy, Martin Prado, who has set the table very well. Those are the numbers from last season, and it was an off year for Prado. This spring, Prado 5th in the Grapefruit League with a .358 average, number 1 with 19 hits. Had the staph infection last year and had to battle his way through that, and it just seemed, Brian, like he was never the same player even after he came back.
Well, that staph infection really hurt him, and to come back and hit behind Michael Bourne.
Roller to short, 2 gone.
You know, he was trying to make adjustments to Michael Bourne instead of coming back and being that aggressive Prado that we're used to. This year, Michael Bourne and Prado get a chance to work it out in spring training so he can get comfortable. And Prado said, I'm going to be aggressive this year.
And just take a look at the Astros defensively. Ruggiano, Bixler, and Buck in the outfield. Johnson, Gonzalez, Moore, and Downs around the diamond. Castro behind home plate. And Brian McCann takes a first pitch strike. Brian McCann, what a career he has had in 6 years, 6 All-Star games, a .286 career average with 136 home runs. Brian McCann has been really, if you break it down, the most consistent guy in the lineup the last few years. I don't even think it's close.
No question about it. It's not close. This guy's made the All-Star team every year, and he has become the new leader of this clubhouse.
McCann batting 3rd today. Uggla cleaning up. How about Brian McCann in the 3-hole?
Well, it doesn't surprise me with Chipper going down. I mean, Freddie Gonzalez is really preparing in this top of the order for the season.
That ball was scorched foul.
And you said it. You talk about consistency. You want your most consistent hitter to hit in that 3rd spot. You would like to see a little more speed in that 3rd spot. Right. But if Brian McCann can get on base, and Dan Uggla with the power that he has, I mean, he drives the ball over the wall. It makes no difference. So Brian will get on base.
Another ball off the thumbs. Grounded foul. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Good battle here. McCann and Zach Duke.
And also the one thing that Freddie's looking at is he wants that left, right, left. You know, you don't want to have 3 left-handers lined up together. And so you almost have to, because I was thinking maybe Uggla moves up to 3rd. You know, which is an option because you talk about a guy with speed, with power, can drive the ball to all fields. But unfortunately, it's a left-handed dominant lineup. If you look at Freddie Freeman, Jason Hayward, Brian McCann.
This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat to Brian McCann. It winds up earning McCann 90 feet of real estate, plunked him. I'm not sure if that one will even leave a mark.
Looked like a changeup running in, and some kind of off-speed pitch. But if you're Freddie Gonzalez, man, your heart just skips a beat when you see any of your top players hit by a pitch in spring training.
Well, Dan Uggla enjoying life here in Central Florida. 5 home runs already this spring, batting .311. Looks like he's ready to get off to a much better start than he did a year ago.
Thanks to changing his attitude, being more aggressive in spring training, learning from Chipper and Brian McCann. And that has helped him this spring.
He hit a career best 36 home runs last year, but because of that hellacious start, the average finished at just .233. That was a career low.
Well, if you'd have seen the first half of that season, you would have never thought he'd have got to .233.
And you got to give him credit. I mean, he kept such a good attitude about it. He was, I mean, from the fans, media, he was a piñata for much of the first half of the Atlanta season last year. It was so well documented, the struggles that he had. 1-2 pitch, swung on and belted. Deep left center field, back, and gone. Uggla cranks out his 6th home run of the spring, and the Braves are on the board. It's 2-0.
Wow, Dan Uggla got the ball up in the zone, and he hit a whopper to left center. And that ball was way midway up the wall out there in left center field. And he's just locked in. You get that ball up in the zone, he's going to hurt you. And that's exactly what Zach Duke did. See Bixler fall down trying to play it off the wall, but when it's on the scoreboard, it doesn't matter.
Those Popeye forearms of his supplying the power. And he's now broken the tie with Alfonso Soriano, most home runs this spring in the Grapefruit League.
Well, this is another guy in the lineup starting to swing a hot bat. According to Greg Walker, he's really starting to find his stroke. Had a terrific game the other day with a home run double.
You and I had a great conversation with him last week about his ability to hit the ball to all fields. He said that came from playing wiffle ball in the backyard, where you had the only way you could hit a home run was to left field. And here's another ball to left field, hit well but playable, as Ruggiano is under it and flags it down for out number 3. But Dan Uggla continues his torrent hitting this spring. Home run number 6, a no doubter to left. And the Braves lead it 2-0.
Astros nothing. Braves fans come enjoy the free Braves open house on March the 31st. Fans will be able to enjoy free Scouts Alley games, clubhouse tours, and kids run the bases. The Braves will also host a Waffle House charity breakfast served by the Braves alumni. Go to Braves.com open house for more details. The hitting hero early on, Dan Uggla, a 2-run blast. And I do mean blast. Off of Zach Duke in the first to give the Braves a 2-0 lead.
Want to make up for your error in that first inning. Come back and hit a 2-run bomb.
A moment of atonement for Dan. Jurrjens looked awfully good in the first and rifles a fastball over to Chris Johnson. Now this is one of the guys they are high on in Houston, and they believe he'll have a long future with the Astros. Tearing it up this spring at 353. And he puts some sting into that baseball, but hits it foul.
Last year being one of the top prospects in the Astros organization, he came up and played a little third base, and this guy has a lot of power. He plays first base too. One of those big power hitting guys. Plays good defense too.
Fastball is high. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Johnson.
Wow. That's all you can say is wow.
Didn't miss by much.
That ball just ran back across the outside corner of the plate, but did not get it.
Tricky hop, fielded cleanly by Prado, who guides it across for out number 1.
Well, first test for Prado over third base. His new position, one of many.
And he's so valuable. You know, you don't have Omar Infante anymore. You'll love to have one of those guys that can not just play defense at a number of spots, but also be effective in the lineup. I think so often when we hear about utility guys, yeah, they can play different spots, but you can take the bat out of their hands very easily. That's not the case with Prado. Castro, hot shot off the glove of Jurrjens. Over to Pasternicki with a 1-6-3 out.
That's a wake-up call. That ball was lit up the middle. Wow. Mike, you got those kind of cat instincts like that?
I would be in a hospital within 30 minutes. That's how good my instincts are in a play like that. Ruggiano takes high.
That's the scary part of being a pitcher. The guys are getting bigger and stronger, and just imagine if that was an aluminum bat. That right there is why there's no aluminum bats in major leagues.
Lazy fly to center. Bourne has already been busy. Puts the squeeze on it. His third put out. And a nice 1-2-3 inning. Nothing across for Jair Jurrjens in inning number 2. We go to the bottom half. The Braves still leading it 2-0. 2-0 our score. Don't forget to get all the latest spring training information at css-sports.com, and you can answer the poll question and enter a chance to win a trip for four to Florida presented by Visit Florida. Check out the website css-sports.com. Alongside Brian Jordan, Mike Morgan, great to be with you here at Champion Stadium in Lake Buena Vista, Florida. A Sunday afternoon special. Perez, Diaz, and Pasternicki, 6, 7, 8 in the Braves lineup. Perez having a great spring. 387 thus far. A guy who put up some pretty good numbers in the Yankees organization the last few years.
Really surprised the Yankees let this guy get away. Had a pretty good season last year in Scranton. Opening a lot of eyes here in the organization.
1 up, 1 down. With the Braves facing a lefty in Duke today. Good practice as you look at.
Wow.
If you look at productive outs last season, as we smoothly segue from one subject to another, the Braves have had a couple of troubles. One against left-handers. And the other, if you go back to last season, Brian, and hopefully this won't be a storyline this year, as Diaz hits it right to Buck and right. Atlanta involved in so many close games. We've talked about it. 55 one-run games last year, but so many unproductive outs. And when you see that graphic that we just saw, that's a number you would think Atlanta would improve on this year.
Well, they have to, man. And last September, we saw a lot of those unproductive outs, you know, with guys in scoring position, not putting the ball in play, striking out in critical situations. These are all things that the Braves have to improve on if they want to get back to the playoffs next year. Well, this year.
Here's Pasternicki, and he's obviously been one of the focal points, one of the big storylines this spring, that battle going on at shortstop. Chopper up the middle. Glove nicely by Gonzalez, and he whips it over to first in time for a quick inning, a 5-pitch inning for Zach Duke. At the end of 2, it's Atlanta 2 and Houston 0. Nothing as we get you set for the top of the 3rd inning. Don't forget to join former Braves Ryan Klesko, Otis Nixon, Marquise Grissom, and others on Saturday, March 31st for the first ever Braves charity breakfast presented by Waffle House. Tickets are $12 in advance and $15 on the day of the event. Get your tickets now at braves.com/breakfast. A lot of your former teammates, Brian, in that group.
Wow, I'll be serving a little breakfast. Hope they get some tips that day.
Jurrjens getting ready for the 3rd after being very effective in the early going. An 8-pitch 2nd inning. And other than the error on Dan Uggla, he's been flawless.
He's been flawless. He's been very aggressive. That first pitch strike that we heard earlier is so important. Well, he's getting it done. Hopefully, this is one of those breakout games for him.
First pitch a little bit low. Marvin Gonzalez, the shortstop, the batter.
This is actually the first batter he didn't go strike one. But he's hitting his spots.
Yeah.
Everywhere Brian McCann is putting that glove, he's hitting it.
Wind picking up a bit to left field. And that one takes a bite out of the inside corner for a strike. Braves will probably have a very active infield again this year with Jurrjens, a ground ball pitcher, Tim Hudson, a ground ball pitcher. Of course, the other guy in that equation for the last few years was Derek Lowe. He's gone now as the bunt has dropped down. Prado, no chance. So the leadoff man is aboard. Jurrjens, an interesting up and down 2011, and he says the key to doing well this year, have fun.
That's what I try to teach the young kids. Like, you need to have fun with this game because he can turn on you so quick. And if you're not having fun, when you're doing good or you're doing bad, when things really start going really bad, it's like you're going to be frustrated. And in a way, you need to try to find a thing to keep you motivated, to keep working, keep pushing, because this is a grind. It's only 62 games, and you're not gonna have good days every day. Then you need to find something in your mind to keep you pushing and keep seeing the positive things.
Well, Brian, and as Duke flies out for the first out, that really is advice I think any major leaguer can certainly learn from.
No question about it. This is a mental grind, and you really have to be focused throughout the season. You can't take days off. And because when it's going good, hey, you feel great, but when it turns on you, it really turns. And if you don't have the mental capacity to deal with those different pressures and disappointments, then you won't be in this game long. And I think that's what Jair was, is trying to share with other young guys, because he felt it last year after having a very successful first half, and how quickly people can turn on you as far as fans. They're cheering for you in the first half, and when you struggle that bad in the second half, you hear some boos.
Gonzalez with a sizable lead at first, drawing some attention. Nice fastball by Jurrjens, consistently in the upper 80s. Every now and then he'll flirt with 91.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but on that bunt by Marvin Gonzalez, the thing that's really going to give Jair trouble is getting off that mound and trying to cover the bunts. And I noticed that he did not even make an effort to that bunt. He left Prado out there to do his job, and he's going to have to, during the season, remember that, because that's where he's going to hurt that meniscus when you run off and you kind of react real quick. That's why when he's swinging the bat, I hope he doesn't run the bases hard.
Bixler chops one. Prado flags it down and rifles across in time. Nice play by Martin Prado as Gonzalez moves to second on the play.
Let's take a look at this bunt here. See, he didn't even make an effort toward that ball, and I don't blame him. You got to look at the longevity of the season. He knows when you try to stop hard on that knee, it could, fall back on that last year's pain, and you don't want to take those chances. You don't want to round the bases hard. I've been there. I've done it.
Moore hits a dribbler to short. Love by Pastor Nicky, and a wild throw. Freeman does a terrific job turning away, hauls it in, stays on the bag. Incredible play by Freddie Freeman to help retire the side. Middle of the third, Braves 2, Astros nothing. Atlanta third. The Braves already on top 2-0 on the strength of a Dan Uggla 2-run blast to left field. It'll be Jurrjens, Bourne, and Prado coming up this inning, and we expect to be joined by the Braves bench coach Carlos Tosca. Later on, we'll chat with him. We'll also have some other player interviews scheduled for you today, as we get a chance to get acquainted with many people in the Braves dugout. The Braves broke camp at 57 and are now down to 39 players. And we are now joined by the dugout by the Braves bench coach Carlos Tosca. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Good to talk to you. I know it always seems like the spring training lasts a little bit longer than it actually does, but so far so good on a lot of different fronts. Anything that sticks out in your mind?
Well, first of all, the work has been really, really good. The players have been very enthusiastic and worked really hard, and it's good to see those things come out in the game. You know, like a couple days ago, we worked on the 3-6-1 double play, and it happened in the game, and it's good reinforcement.
Carlos, this is Brian. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, Brian. How are you?
All right. How many years is it for you in spring training? I know you've been to a lot of them.
This is my 33rd year, 33rd spring training.
33rd year. You call the defenses. Great play by Freddie Freeman. Tell me about your shortstop situation. I mean, both of these guys looking pretty good. How hard have they been working outside of the game? And I know you got a close eye on these guys.
Yeah, they've both been working really, really hard. And the one thing that I think that they need to do is just to slow themselves down a little bit. Sometimes they get a little excited out there and don't think they have as much time as they really have. And you know, that's only natural because they're trying to impress and show their best.
Carlos, as we look at Michael Bourne at the plate right now, you get him for a full season in 2012, combined with Prado and Hayward. Of course, I mean, you've got some horses out there where you can play around a little bit in the outfield and cause some problems for fly balls from opposing teams. Yeah,
we're pretty solid out there defensively. All three of those guys cover a lot of ground. They're all three good throwers, and they have good instincts out there. And we're very fortunate to have Mike, not only from the defensive side of the ball, but he provides real spark for us at the top of the lineup.
We talked about Pastor Nicky. How about Andrelton Simmons? Tell us a little bit more. He's not in the lineup today, but the more we talk to players and coaches, I mean, their eyes light up when they talk about his raw defensive skills.
Well, the thing, physically, he's very, very impressive. He's got a plus arm, and he throws with ease, and he can throw from a lot of different angles with ease. But the thing that's probably impressed us the most is his feel for the game, his instincts when he's out there. He plays defense as if he's been playing in the major leagues for 10 or 15 years. I mean, he just instinctively does things day in, day out that really impress you.
All right, we're listening to Carlos Tosca, assistant coach for Freddie Gonzalez. Carlos, Jordan Perez, this guy's having a terrific spring, came from the Yankees organization. You know, we know he's battling for that 5th outfield spot. I mean, in your eyes, I mean, how does this kid look?
He's swung the bat very, very well. He likes to hit that fastball, which, as you know, that's what you need to do to stay here in the major leagues. And he gives you good at bats. He battles through at bats, and he's got some speed, so he's not a clog when he gets on the bases, and he's able to play all 3 outfield positions. He can throw, so he's been impressive in camp.
Carlos, one final question, and it couldn't be more timely here because you got Bourne at first, you got Prado in the 2-hole at the plate right now. We've talked about it with Martin, the challenges of being in the 2-hole with a base stealer in the leadoff spot, which has been, quite frankly, rather unique to the Braves over the last few years. Do you feel like he feels more comfortable now with that scenario?
I'm certain that he does, and that's a good point, because if you're not used to having someone in front of you that can steal a base, who's been the league base stealing champion for a couple of years, it takes a little bit of getting used to. But the good thing is that Michael has told him not to worry, that Michael picked his pitch to go on, and so that's kind of freed Martin up a little bit.
All right, we're going to free you up, let you get back to business. Carlos, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Carlos.
Carlos Tosca, long time coach in Major League Baseball, now in his 33rd year. Does a great job with the Atlanta Braves. Count is 0-2 on Prado with Bourne twitching at first. Little jam job flare, takes a weird bounce, and everybody's going to be safe.
Wow.
Talk about English on that baseball. Minnesota Fats couldn't have done it any better.
That's when you know it's going good, Mike. But I mean, just a good approach by Prado. All-speed pitch. He kept his hands back, just trying to put the ball in play any way he can, and like it just hit off the end of his bat, like a pool stick, like you said.
I wish I could have made that shot go down in a little 8-ball. So 2 on, 1 out. Brian McCann at the dish. He was hit by a pitch his first time up. Braves already leading at 2-0.
Oh, another thing I can tell you about Carlos Tosca, he's a good golfer. He's a real good golfer.
Inside on the breaking ball from Duke. Well, the Braves hope this will be a scenario that you see all season long. Bourne and Prado on base, McCann at the plate.
Ugler behind him. Pick your poison.
2 balls, no strikes. Remember a couple years ago, Brian McCann, the story was the vision. Would he wear the goggles? Would he not wear the goggles? LASIK surgery and everything else. That's all been rectified. As you see, the gate out there in right center has been opened up. Shut that door.
Zach looked like he's struggling against left-handed Brian McCann. Last at bat, he hit Brian late in the count after Brian fouled off a lot of pitches. And he just can't find a strike zone. Good pitch to swing on. 2-0.
Swings and drives it deep right field. Back toward the corner and gone. Brian McCann, a 3-run homer. And the Braves with a commanding 5-0 lead.
Well, when you see the pitcher struggling against you, he falls behind 2-0 with 2 runners on. Good pitch to take a hack on, and Brian McCann got a pitch up and in. And this is what Brian McCann does so good. He works the count, he gets his pitch to hit, and he just drives him out of the ballpark.
Braves playing some long ball. Second home run of the spring for Brian McCann. This ballpark very similar to Turner Field in that it plays more like a pitcher's park than it does a hitter's park. You see what Ugla did in at bat number 1. Take out the tape measure on this one. High off the scoreboard in left center field, well over 400 feet.
You make that mistake, you get that ball up in the zone, and Ugla, like you said, those pop-high arms will make you pay. And he's gotten stronger in the offseason. We thought he was strong last year, but he's been working even harder.
Meanwhile, Zach Duke continues to struggle. Duke's a guy, again, had such a great start to his career in Pittsburgh. Since then, you look at the lifetime numbers, 48 wins, 74 losses, an ERA of 4.56, and now just fighting like heck to be the number 5 starter for the Astros.
You have to have a repertoire if you want to be successful at the major league level. You can't just have a good fastball and changeup. You got to have a good curveball or slider to go with it, and that's where he struggles.
The last 4 have reached now for the Braves. Freeman, a lefty, coming to the plate, and this is what the Braves struggled with last year against left-handers. Dead last in the National League with a .228 average. The National League average was .251, so that is certainly something that you'd like to augment this season.
And that's why it's so important to have some right-handers in your lineup. You know, in the Braves, we know it's predominantly left-handers in this lineup. So you need Matty Diaz, Prado, and those guys to perform well. But these left-hand hitters, you have to hit better this year.
And of course, the other guy that will hit righty when he's in the lineup is Jurrjens. And if you're joining us late, maybe you've just kind of been out of the loop the last few days. Jurrjens a couple days ago announcing this will be his final season in the majors. All of them, of course, with the Atlanta Braves. 1-1 pitch skyrocketed to center. Backing up Bixler. He's at the wall and it's gone. Wow, that ball just kept carrying off the bat of Freddie Freeman. Another long ball for Atlanta. 3 home runs on the day. The Braves have broken this game wide open.
Well, I said Freddie Freeman is starting to heat up, starting to lock in, and I mean, this kid is strong. He stayed back on his ball well. He was balanced, and when you got the wind blowing out toward left field, it's carrying pretty good. But Freddie, I mean, gosh, this kid is phenomenal. I really like Freddie. I mean, he's a Gold Glove first baseman. I think he has that potential, and he can hit the ball, spray it all over the field with some power, with some authority. And he just showed us right there, hitting his second home run in spring training.
Well, he didn't miss the first time up by much. Remember, he hit it to left, deep to the warning track. That ball to straightaway center. You got him, earn him here. It goes 400 to straightaway center. A lot of fly balls die in this ballpark to that part. It just kept carrying and carrying. And the Braves already with 3 home runs this game, 2 in the inning.
Well, quickly, Zach Duke is saying, I got to get this curveball working. He throws Peraza a nasty curveball there.
0-2 now the count for the Braves right fielder. Peraza trying to one of those final outfield spots. You know the first 3 are going to be.
Well, after looking at that graphic, you know, the Braves versus lefty, I think he really has a good shot of making his ball club. Hitting with power from the right side. He can play all 3 positions. You heard Carlos Tosca say. So if I'm him, I got to finish this spring training, you know, putting up some good numbers, making some plays in the outfield, and cross your fingers.
He's yet to get a major league at bat. He made it to AAA last year with the Yankees, Scranton Wilkes-Barre. He had .289 in AAA. 9 home runs, 52 runs batted in. He was named a Yankees minor league all-star following last season. And the Braves just picked him up as a free agent. Zook pops him up. Johnson coming down the line. 2 gone. Fans, keep up to date with everything CSS. Interact with us and our hosts on Twitter or Facebook. And for current schedules, program information, and the latest hot topic blogs, go to the website, css-sports.com. See our Twitter handles on there, at Morgan On Air. And for Brian Jordan, at 2SportMan. Matt Diaz with that upright stance. Swings and misses for strike 1.
Matty's been working really hard down here in spring training, trying to learn to drive the ball the other way. It's so important for his success. Is keeping his eyes the other way. He's really starting to pull the ball too much, and he realizes that. I watched him in batting practice drive the ball to right field an awful lot. And I tell every kid, I mean, learn to drive the ball the other way and you'll become a terrific hitter. If you become pull conscious, you know, it's a lot tougher to have a good average. And we know, we've seen Manny Diaz bat over 300 with the Braves a couple years back. And hopefully he can return to those numbers. Keep his head right up the middle.
Hot shot. Beautiful diving stop by Johnson. Rifles across in time. Diaz robbed of a hit. One of the few things that did not go well for the Braves in the third. 5 runs, including 2 home runs, one by McCann and one by Freddie Freeman. Braves lead it 7-0. Away with the Braves leading it 7-0 on the strength of 3 home runs, one by Uggla, one by McCann, and one by Freddie Freeman. The Braves have struggled at times offensively this year, taking out some frustrations today as we go back into the Wayback Machine. 1995 opening day starting lineup against the Giants. Of course, this team went on to win the World Series. Familiar names: Grissom, Blauser, Jones, McGriff, Justice, Lopez. Mike Kelly might surprise some folks. The Lemmer batting 8th, and one Greg Maddux in the 9-hole. Braves defeated San Francisco 12-5 that day, and of course later went on to defeat the Cleveland Indians in the World Series. Sluggers today: Freeman, Uggla, and of course Brian McCann.
Well, Freddie Gonzalez has to be feeling good about the breaking out of the power today. Something that the Braves fans have been waiting for. And there you see Jair, first pitch, strike 1. Right now he looks like he's in total control. He looks relaxed.
And 10 first pitch strikes already for Jurrjens today. I think control is the operative word. He's been in control from the jump. He reminds you so quickly, you know, just when you perhaps, I know some people got down on Jurrjens last year with that second half, but then he'll have a start like this where he reminds you just how good he can be and how valuable he can be to this rotation.
Again, so many people don't understand how the meniscus, the pain in that knee, can really affect everything that you do, and I can just imagine how much pain Jair was in last year, just trying to fight through it and stay out there and kind of return to those first half numbers, but he just couldn't do it. And hopefully, you know, that pain is gone and he can continue on and get better. This is a good step so far.
2-2 count to Travis Buck. Hammers that one foul. For Jurrjens too, it's about staying healthy. It really has been a rough go on the disabled list. In 07 he missed 14 games with a shoulder. Missed some games in 2008 with an ankle. 2010 he missed 52 games with a hamstring. And last year he had a couple of stints on the DL. One with an injury to his side. And of course the knee injury, he wound up missing 34 games total with that particular injury. So if he can just stay healthy, you would expect Jurrjens to put together another good year.
So far, 34 pitches, 24 strikes.
And another strikeout for Jair. A good battle there with Travis Buck. And he wins it. Second punch out of the day.
Right now, Jair has everything working. Good movement on every pitch. That ball just ran back across the middle of the plate. Started inside. Again, he's in a comfort zone.
Swing and a miss by Downs, who flied out to center his first time up. After Jurrjens, we expect to see Asensio and Flande out of the bullpen. Johnny Venter is going to get a little bit of time off, but should be back soon. Want to make sure not to use him too much. He led relievers last year in appearances, and he's so valuable to the bullpen.
Another guy so valuable to this team is Jack Wilson, who seems to be feeling pretty good. He's playing a couple games over in the minor league complex, getting his feet back under him and trying to work on his timing. And Freddie Gonzalez said he will be back on Tuesday. And getting a chance to start for the Braves team out here.
Yeah, I mean, there was talk he might have to start the year on the disabled list. Now he's hoping to be ready for opening day.
And he's way ahead of schedule. He just got to, you know, Jack is one of those guys that goes all out all the time, and he's going to just have to slow down and work his way back into shape, you know, before he goes out here and tries to do too much. And I think Freddie is in his ear, kind of reminding him of that every day. But it's hard, you know, when you got a guy that's used to going that way, it's hard to kind of tone back. But they will need him opening day as an insurance policy.
Swing and a miss, strike three. The second strikeout of the inning for Jurrjens.
Jair is just getting on top of everything. I mean, good fastball, decent movement, and he's still up there in the 89-90 range.
There's a key number right there. Getting ahead of the count. Bouncer to Prado, collects it on one hop and throws across. Another quick, efficient 1-2-3 inning for Jurrjens. Middle of the fourth, Braves 7, Astros nothing. By all, another good crowd at Champion Stadium in its 15th season as the home stadium for the Braves during spring training. Braves on top 7-0. CSS brings you the top-ranked baseball teams in the country with over 80 live college baseball games this year. Tune in this Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time as the Clemson Tigers take a visit to Foley Field in Athens to take on the 17th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs. That's right here, live on CSS. Look forward to calling some of those games this year. A lot of SEC games on the docket. Always great baseball in the Southeastern Conference. Pastor Nicky will start things off and looks at a called strike at the knees.
Well, Tyler Pastor Nicky seems like he's starting to relax a little bit. Got that average up to 226. And there, driving that ball the other way, staying behind it. And that's a good sign for Tyler.
That is. When he's spraying the ball around all fields. When you and I saw him at Gwinnett last year, you never knew where he was going to hit the ball. Left, center, right. That's when he's at his best.
Right. He just stays behind the ball. He uses his hands and went right with that pitch to right field.
Jurrjens squares. Bunts it foul.
I talked to Tyler before batting practice. He looks so much more relaxed. You know, he's even taking batting practice like he belongs now. And I like that. He's starting to grow. He's starting to get that confidence that we were talking about last week.
Johnson halfway down the line, and Jurrjens takes a hack and serves it into center field for a base hit. Why not? He's done everything else well today.
Everything's going good. This is the perfect way he's supposed to do it. Show bunt, pull back, and wow, get it done just like that. Right back up the middle. Good piece of hitting by Jair. Not only pitching good, he's swinging good.
Michael Bourne, the batter. We talked with Michael Bourne about working with a number 2 hitter and trying to take the pressure off of Martin Prado this year.
You coming in the middle of the season and doing it, you got somebody trying to tell him to do something different than he's been doing the whole year. And, you know, it might be hard for him to adjust to that.
Right.
So you start off in spring training doing it, y'all can work together on whatever it is.
And Bourne hits it down the line, a base hit, scoring Pastor Nicky to make it 8-0 Atlanta. Michael Bourne reaching for the second time today.
And this was scary for me when I saw Michael pull his ball down the line. All I could think about is Jair Jurrjens running around the bases. And this is an easy triple for Michael Bourne, but he knows Jair's in front of him. He knows he's babying that knee, and he just automatically stopped at second. And I'm glad to see Ron Snicker put up the stop sign for Jair Jurrjens.
Now 2 on. Nobody out. Martin Prado, the batter, he's 1 for 2. And takes a fastball strike.
Well, this is not helping Zach Duke's chances of being the 5th starter for the Astros. Not a good outing for him.
Check swing by Prado. It did not go around. Bourne at second, Jurrjens at third, Prado at the plate.
Prado is so good in these positions, men in scoring position. He's always looking to drive the ball to right field.
20 hits already this spring for Martin Prado, who was an all-star in 2010. Duke checks and fires. Nowhere near, and the count now 3-1 for Prado. McCann, who homered his last time up, waits on deck. Kirk Clark warming up now in the Astros bullpen.
Zach's been leaving a lot of balls up in the zone all day long. And he looks like he just doesn't have it anymore.
Prado chops one to third. Fair ball. Jurrjens, who went back to the bag, he'll score easily. Bourne has to downshift before he touches home plate. Two more runs batted in, this time for Prado. The Braves have reached double digits. It's 10-0.
Zach tried to go inside on Prado, and Prado got his hands in. And the ball just kind of walked the chalk there. Chris Johnson could not make the play. And that could be it for Zach.
Typically in spring training, they like the guys to finish the inning out, kind of take one for the team, which really is what Zach Duke is doing right now. He clearly has been overmatched in this game. They're going to see if they can squeeze another inning out of him. The Braves will be more than happy to go along with that game plan. Already 10 runs on 8 hits, and now McCann the batter. 9 of the last 11 Braves batters have reached. McCann with another home run cut.
Zach Duke starts him off with a curveball. And that's the pitch he's going to have to perfect if he wants to stay in the major leagues.
One ball, one strike to McCann, who has been hit by a pitch and then hit a 3-run homer in the right field corner. Swing and a miss. He pulled off that one.
Another good curveball away.
Duke has already thrown 70 pitches, and we're in the bottom of the 4th. Wind picks up to left. Duke right now, Brian, looks like a guy that just does not trust his stuff.
Absolutely. He does not trust the changeup, but more so the curveball. And that's what he's going to have to learn how to pitch with that curveball. Let's see if he goes away with that curveball to Brian McCann here. Get it up, but throw it away.
He went with it, and he missed by about an inch or two inside. Full count.
Here's when Brian McCann is just so good. Full count. He went from 1-2. He worked the count back to 3-2. Now he's waiting on his pitch.
Slow breaking ball, and he got him. A knee buckler.
And that's okay in spring training. You sit there, your pitch is that fastball, 3-2 count. You're looking for it. And Zach Duke surprised him with that hanging curveball.
That's the first strikeout for Duke, and it'll be the last as he is going to exit stage left. We'll tell you about the new Astros pitcher in just a moment. The Braves leading at 10-0 here in the 4th. Back with more from Champion Stadium in a moment. You feel somewhat for the young man because you know when you've reached a stage in your career or you've struggled the last few years and you're battling for a number 5 spot, the end is not too far off potentially for Zach Duke. Hopefully better days for him, but great news for the Braves. 8 hits, 10 runs, and 3 home runs thus far, and still plenty of room to do some damage this inning with a runner at second, 1 gone, and Dan Uggla the batter. As you see, the new pitcher for the Astros from minor league camp, right-hander Kirk Clark. Uggla hits one a mile high. Back of third, foul ground, and a nice play by Gonzalez to put it away.
Excellent play by Gonzalez, not giving up on that ball. And that ball was way up there and the wind's blowing. But that's a sign of Uggla being very aggressive. The first pitch he sees, he swings at. Good concentration by the young man.
Now Freddie Freeman, who hit a blast to straightaway center his last time up. It's hard not to get excited about this guy the more you watch him play. Freddie Freeman in just his second full year now in the bigs, and the sky really is the limit. Didn't take him long to prove what he could do defensively, and last year the light went on somewhere around the middle of the season and he became a very tough out.
And here's a pitch down in the zone and an uppercut swing. Freddie's showing his power. Straightaway center field. And this is a guy we had a chance to see in Gwinnett.
Right.
And he kind of started out similar to what he did last year. He got off to a slow start. He made some adjustments and finished very strong. And last year we saw it at the major league level. He got off to a slow start, made those same adjustments, and was second on the ballot for rookie of the year.
Right. If it wasn't for one of his teammates, he would have won the award.
And I love Kimbrel, but I've always thought the position player should always get that award. The guy that's going to be in the grind for 150 to 162 games. But the numbers that Kimbrel put up last year for a young closer had to be impressive.
1-2 pitch in on the hands and popped up to shallow left center, and that'll put it in to the Braves' fourth. But another big one, a 3-spot on the board as we move to the fifth. Atlanta 10, Houston nothing. Great reasons to come to the ballpark, watch the Braves here in Lake Buena Vista during spring training. Plenty of good eating and a lot of things you can get at the concession stands. Don't forget, Braves fans, new this year, you can buy a ticket plan and receive 33% off of food and beverages at Turner Field. Visit Braves.com/tickets or call 404-577-9100 to purchase your season ticket package today. That's great to see everybody else enjoy some great food. Maybe we can smell the aroma and just continue to work up an appetite here in the booth.
Ice cream cone looking really, really good, man. But I'm on my Slim Again diet.
Is that right? How's
That's
that working
right.
out?
Pretty good so far.
Okay. Jason Castro start things off against Jurrjens, who's been terrific.
He has been in the comfort zone from the start of the game, getting ahead of hitters and putting them away with good movement away on the outside corner of the plate.
Pitch number 45 is grounded to second. Uggla takes care of the rest. And that was a big concern from, I think, a lot of the fans last year. They'd heard different things about Uggla defensively, but as you pointed out earlier in the game, he was very good defensively last year. You know what the range is or isn't, but in terms of making the plays, Dan Uggla was very good.
I really think Alex Gonzalez had a lot to do with that, you know, working out in spring training with him last year. And Alex is such a good defensive shortstop. I thought he should have won the Gold Glove last year, but he made Uggla better. You know, they worked hard together. It was a good combination. And a lot of times you feed off the energy of a great fielder. And watching Gonzalez last year, all of a sudden you saw Dan Uggla making those same great plays right to left. And, you know, you get that little competitive competition going. And I just felt like that made Uggla so much better as a defensive second baseman. His confidence is so high right now. We saw him make the blunder early, but we know that's not him.
He's still trying to figure out which shortstop he's going to be working with come opening day. 3 balls and a strike, one of the rare 3-ball counts today for Jurrjens. He's retired the last 7 Astro batters. That one right over the outer half for strike 2.
He has that last-minute movement. Ball runs right back across the corner of the plate. That's when he's at his best. Have that type of movement on every pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. 4th punch out of the day for Jurrjens, who still has it rolling.
Started that pitch right over the middle of the plate, and it kind of broke in at the last second, right on the inner half. Man, I remember I went out pitched in high school. Gosh, I wish I had that type of movement.
Want to remind everyone that Visit Florida is the presenting sponsor of Atlanta Braves spring training on CSS. Unleash your Florida side at visitflorida.com. 1-0 pitch inside to Gonzalez. Landon Powell has grabbed a bat. He is on deck. Should Gonzalez reach?
Well, Gonzalez has the only hit of the day for the Astros, and that was a bunt, his first at bat. Prado couldn't make the play.
Yeah, the only couple of base runners, a bunt single, and Scott Moore reached on the Uggla error. That's been it. Jurrjens has been in control. And that one misses for a rare walk. Gonzalez aboard with 2 away. This is Landon Powell's guy that I'm pretty familiar with from calling a lot of games back at his alma mater, South Carolina. He was an All-American catcher, a first-round draft pick of the Oakland A's, and is now trying to make the team here in Houston. Powell, a switch hitting catcher. Some good pop, very good defensively, but he has had some knee issues.
If you look at his motion and having a left meniscus tear, you see the pounding that you come in. You got to open up that front leg, and it just puts so much pressure on that front knee, and that's why he struggled so badly last year. That's 6 straight balls by Jair. I think that's 7.
3 balls, no strikes, the count to Landon Powell. A runner on first, 2 away. The wind now gusting to left field. That one grooved over for a strike. The Astros playing in their final year in the National League, which is kind of a controversial move. Not all fans on deck on that one. Another beautiful fastball, good zip there in the upper 80s. Strike 2.
If you're a young kid trying to make the team, 3-1 count, you got to let it go. You got to let it rip. The managers are looking at your aggressiveness at the plate. It's very important.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Powell goes down after being up 3-0. Jurrjens, first time he has struggled today, but recovers well. We're halfway home here from Lake Buena Vista. Braves 10, Astros nothing. And the Astros nothing. A new Braves pitcher, or Braves Astros pitcher rather, is Brandon Lyon. Brandon Lyon, who's had some arm problems here of late, trying to bolster that bullpen this year. As we go back into the Wayback Machine, 1982, another very good Braves team that would make the postseason, and that year opening day was against the San Diego Padres. I like these names here: Butler, Hubbard. How about Claudell Washington? My man Bob Horner. That was before he became a Yakult Swallow. Everybody's favorite Dale Murphy, Chris Chambliss, Bruce Benedict, Rafael Ramirez, and the opening day starter. He was the opening day starter a number of times. Rick Mailer.
Rick Mailer. Wow.
Makes you feel old, doesn't it?
Oh, my goodness. Love Bruce Benedict, too. He's a funny guy. remember he came up in the press box with us last year with Gwinnett. Love talking baseball with him.
First base coach for a while with Atlanta. Perez, the batter, to start things off for the Braves here in the 5th. And flares one out to right for out number 1. Now Perez is 0 for 3. Diaz, the batter, who's 0 for 2.
It's a very important week for guys like Perez and Pastornicki and Simmons. This is when those starting pitchers for the opponents, they start dialing in. Freddie Gonzalez sits back and breaks out his pencil. Let's see who can handle the pitching and who can't handle the pitching.
Diaz with another strong cut. For a guy who's not really a power hitter, he's got a pretty violent swing. Former Florida State Seminole, Matt Diaz. Diaz was a career 300 hitter. He finally went below that mark last season, and he was in Pittsburgh, and I think it's safe to say he is more than happy to be back with the Braves.
Yes, he is.
A slicer down the line, and that will bounce foul. But to go back to your point on how important these last couple weeks are for a number of guys, the first couple weeks, just kind of getting warmed up. A lot of the young guys. And you had 57 guys on the roster a couple weeks ago, and now we're starting to get to the nitty-gritty. Everybody's got to slice that roster down to 25.
And it's so funny because the fans, you get calls and everybody's in panic mode. The Braves starting out for such a losing record. And I said, look, call me the last week of spring training. That's when it's panic mode. You'll see guys starting to play better baseball. We see the power numbers starting to break out. It's getting closer to the season. Starting to round into shape.
I remember a couple of years ago on radio, I did the Braves' final game of spring training. It was in Lakeland against the Tigers. I've never seen so many guys swinging at the first pitch in my life. They couldn't wait to get on that bus and get back to Turner Field.
It's probably the worst day of spring training, having to play that last game down here in Florida.
You were joking around with Eric Hinsky before the game how he was saying, I'm the road warrior. I keep making all these trips, all the road games. Not in the lineup today.
Well, a lot of times the starters, they like to stay back at home, and they get that respect from the manager. So those utility guys, they got to go on that road, and unless you're Albert Pujols, who travels all the time, which says a lot about him. As a leader and a guy that's making all that money, he puts in the work. It's a routine. He's done all his life, and he's not going to change it.
Good battle here. Lyon and Diaz, as he spoils another pitch, just throws the bat out. Brendan Lyon, for a while there looked like he was going to be an ace closer for a lot of years, but he's had some arm problems, and they've actually got Brett Myers ticketed to be the closer this year.
Well, he made that decision early in the offseason, and I like Brett. He's had a great career as a starter, and he has that mentality to close, so it's going to be interesting to watch him during the season.
Well, this will be the 11th pitch of this at bat. Lyon to Matt Diaz. And one thing you know about Matty Diaz, he's not giving in.
He's going to find a way to try to put the ball in play.
And it serves him well as he serves one into left field, a base hit. Great at bat for Matt Diaz.
Good battle. Gets a curveball up in the zone, drives it in between short and third.
Now Pasternicki, 1 for 2. Spray one to right his last time up. Braves with 10 runs, home runs by Ugla, McCann, and Freeman, and none of them were cheap.
Come on, Mike. If it goes over the wall, nothing's cheap, buddy.
I keep thinking of Julio Teheran in that one game where he gave up 6 home runs. He would probably say, some of those were cheap. They were wind blown.
That's a tough place to play early in spring training out in Lakeland.
Ball and a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Pasternicki, who would love nothing more to finish off spring training on a high note and try to grab hold of that job. Starting shortstop job between him and Andrelton Simmons. Almost a double play. Diaz gets back safely and a nice leaping grab by Moore at second.
Good throw, and that's a double play. Wow, I thought this ball was hit a lot harder than that. Sky Moore jumps in the air. Matty got a freeze on those soft line drives. Matty looked like he was ready to go to second, but was able to get back to first base.
Jurrjens, who had a base hit after showing bunt, pulling it back. He slapped one to center. 1 for 2 today.
I would love to see Jair just sit there and just take 3 strikes or take a walk. Do not take any chances on his knee. But he loves to swing the bat, so he's going to try to go deep. That was a good swing. Just missed that fastball. Look at Freddie Gonzalez telling him, calm down.
First ever major league pitcher out of Curacao. Of course, the Braves have had some luck from that country with Andrew Jones, Randall Simon.
Randall Simon, the hot dog man.
Who could forget that? Of course, the other guy from Curacao now on the Braves roster, Andrelton Simmons, who grew up an Andrew Jones fan.
Tell you what, you come out of Curacao, really good talent.
Curaçao's been good to the Braves.
Yes.
1-2 to Jurrjens, who's been stingy at the plate. He's not giving way at all to Brandon Lyon.
Give away. Go back and pitch.
Wilton Lopez warming up now in the Astros bullpen.
I'm telling you, Freddie's sitting there saying, take.
Jurrjens says, hey man, I'm a hitter. Let me swing. 2 base hits for Jurrjens.
Wow.
Both up the box.
Well, once he gets this next inning, that's just a good piece of hitting. Stand back on it, getting those hands extended out there, right back up the middle. Well, this will be a true test for Jair. I mean, if he gets through this game after being on base a couple times and he wakes up with no soreness, has to be a great sign for him mentally.
And physically, he's going to be stretched out, getting ready for inning number 6. As Michael Bourne steps in, been a good day at the office for Michael Bourne. He's walked, and he's also driven in a run with an RBI single in the 4th. Later scored on the double by Prado.
I love having conversations with Michael Bourne. He has so much energy. When you talk to him, his face just lights up. Loves to have fun. Just looks like he's just enjoying himself.
If you combine the numbers last year with the Braves and the Astros, he kind of quietly stole 61 bases.
I'm already projecting at least 70 this year.
He's gotten 50 or more steals 3 times already in his young career. That 70 number, that's a magical number. It doesn't happen very often today.
Not today. But I believe he has it in him. He's on a mission this year.
Tomahawks that one foul. Scott Podsednik was one of the last guys to do it. See what Michael Bourne has done over the last 5 years. Nobody has swiped more bags since 2007 than Michael Bourne.
Wow, 233. Awesome. I just wish the Braves would have locked him up long term.
2-2 served down the left field line, just foul by about a foot. Brandon Lyon, meanwhile, laboring 27 pitches already this inning. Bourne, who started his career with the Philadelphia Phillies back in 2006. Swing and a miss. And that's going to do it for the Braves in inning number 5. We'll move on to the 6th. Jair Jurrjens back on the hill working out a shutout. Braves 10, Astros nothing. The Braves leading the Astros 10-0. Fans, get your tickets today for the Braves All-Stars versus the Future Stars game on April the 3rd at Coolray Field. Come see manager Freddie Gonzalez and the Braves take on former Braves skipper Bobby Cox and the team's brightest prospects. For tickets, go to braves.com/futurestars or call 678-277-0340. Brian and I will be there for that game, broadcast it, and talking to Bobby Cox earlier today, he's excited about it. He was wondering what the crowd's going to be like, and early returns are it's going to be a terrific crowd at Coolray Field.
I'm saying it's probably close to sold out, if not sold out. Bobby Cox coming back to town.
That's right. Bobby's going to be managing in that ball game. He wanted to know what his appearance fee was. I don't know. I'll have to negotiate that. Jurrjens looking to get through another inning. He has faced 18 batters, and only 3 have reached base. One of those was on an error. Other than that, he's surrendered a single and a walk. And the rest of the time, he has just dominated.
He's up to 5 strikeouts in this game, too.
Top of the order for the Astros.
Bixler 0 for 2. Strikeout. Grounded out to third.
Well, I know we've got a lot of viewers back in Houston as well here on CSS, and I'm sure a lot of Astros fans are wondering what this team, what this franchise is going to do in the next couple of years. They've got a couple of big contracts that'll be up after this year, including Carlos Lees and Brandon Lyon. And a good chance those two will not be back, and then you're pretty much starting from scratch. A youth movement. They've got a beautiful ballpark. If you've ever been to Houston, that's one of the nicer parks out there. Fly ball to right. And Perez is there for out number 1.
It is a beautiful ballpark there, and a lot of great highlights there with the Killer Bees back in those days.
There's only one of them left, Lance Berkman, who had a terrific year in St. Louis last year. He'll be back with the Cardinals. I was talking to one of the Houston Astros personnel people before this game and asking him, well, what do you think the reaction is, and what do you think the fans will be thinking about with the move? And he said, a lot of them will miss this rivalry, Houston-Atlanta, because for so long they were playing in the same division and facing each other several times a year. You've got some great matchups over the years between these two clubs.
A lot of Atlanta fans in Houston, too. And vice versa. A lot of Houston fans in Atlanta. But it's going to be different. To see Houston go to the American League, and especially out there on the West. And being with Texas, that's going to be a huge rivalry now. Playing in that interleague, 6 games. Now you expand out to 12 to 19 games. I believe it's 19 games now. So that's going to be an interesting rivalry. But you and I were talking about this. I mean, Milwaukee moved from American League over to National League. Why not move Milwaukee back?
Right. You could have just saved a lot of trouble and just kept Milwaukee in the AL.
Exactly.
Everything would have been status quo as Jurrjens picks up strikeout number 6. Scott Moore, the victim. Speaking of the Astros moving to the AL, this is the reaction from some of the players changing leagues.
It's kind of a weird feeling, having the last year being the NL Central, but we're definitely going to not look past it and really try to attack this last year in the National League and do everything we can to put our mark in the NL Central and do the best we can.
You can't even think about it yet. We really got 1 year left in the National League. We're going to focus on that. But I think next offseason, when it hits us that we're going into the AL West, is going to be a different scenario. So we'll worry about it when we get there. But it's definitely something we're going to have to get our hands around.
And then you got to pitch against Pujols in the same division.
Yeah, we missed them 1 year. We only get 1 year off, and then we get Fielder back as well. So it will be a challenge.
And I would imagine if you're a guy like Bud Norris, who's a good young pitcher, that's what you're most concerned about. Now you got to face the DH. You got to face Pujols. He mentioned Fielder, a bunch of great hitters in the American League. It's a base hit, a sinking drive into right, throw home, and McCann can't field it. A run scores, and for the first time today, the Astros find home plate.
Good piece of hitting by Matt Downs. Kind of reached out there and slapped the ball to right field. And Jordan Perez, he does have a strong arm, but you got to give Brian McCann a better chance. If you're going to throw this ball, either you're going to throw it all away or you got to shorten it up where you're not having a short hop Brian McCann and put him in a difficult situation there.
Yeah, that was right in the danger zone.
Yes. And after watching Buster Posey a year ago, don't take any chances.
I thought there was an interesting write-up about that. Bruce Bochy coming out and telling reporters he has instructed Buster Posey, don't block the plate again on a play like that. Don't risk the injury. We need you all year long.
Well, that's tough. I mean, for a manager to tell a player that, because it's instinctive. He's been doing it so long that, you know, it's tough to kind of change. So, but I understand why he wants Buster not to take that chance, because that's the franchise guy.
Right.
I mean, if he stays in that lineup, they make the playoffs, in my eyes. With that pitching staff, the way he handled that pitching staff, it's a much better team. So he needs Buster Posey on the field, and it's good to see him back, because he was one of those bright stars that I think fans love to watch. I know myself as a fan, I love to watch him.
Nice let up there by Jurrjens for strikeout number 2 of the inning, number 7 of the game. The Astros finally played a run, middle of the 6th. Atlanta 10, Houston 1. Good here from Champion Stadium. The Braves leading the Astros 10-1. Really, when you look at it, Brian, everything that you could ask for. A great start by Jurrjens up to this point. The power supply tapped in with 3 home runs. The lineup has been good. What more could you ask for?
Well, a start Jair desperately needed, and it was good to see him out there being very comfortable. And it's great when you got the power hitters coming out today, Brian McCann, Dan Uggla, and Freddie Freeman, giving you a cushion to where you can relax. And he's been spectacular today, going strike one on every hitter, and his pitches have been moving real good. So I like what I saw today.
Very encouraging. Jurrjens on pace right now to pick up his first win of the spring, easily his best start of the spring. And again, the Braves lineup has been very good today, pounding out 10 hits and plating 10 runs. Got a couple of defensive substitutions for the Astros. Got a new right fielder, Jake Gobert, replacing Buck. As Martin Prado steps in. Prado 2 hits and 3 at-bats. Swings and drives this one to right center, but playable for the recently inserted Gobert for out number 1.
Always finds you when you first come into the game.
Well, Brian McCann is going to get a rest. It'll be Eric Hinsky pinch hitting. Eric Hinsky, the road warrior, this spring training will get a chance to have an at-bat here at home. Very valuable guy, versatile, can play first, can play left and right field, and just a clutch bat off the bench.
A great clubhouse guy, good guy to have on your team. Yeah, with a lot of experience. He's won a championship, knows how it feels, and if you're a young kid, he's the go-to guy.
Well, he had a nice run there before he made his way to Atlanta, where he made the World Series 3 straight years with 3 different clubs. That's pretty hard to do. Also makes for a great variety of rings.
That's right.
Swing and a miss, and Hinsky goes down quickly on 3 pitches.
Now batting, second baseman Dan Agla.
Wilton Lopez just threw a high fastball, and your eyes just light up if you're coming off the bench like Eric Hinsky did. See that first fastball, you're swinging.
Dan Ugla. Tape measure home run in the first, walk in the third, and he popped out in the 4th inning. The quickest second baseman in Major League history to reach 100 home runs. Tried to check his swing, and he did.
Well, you better turn it up a notch. After facing Zach Duke and you face Wilton Lopez, I mean, he's bringing the heat. That last pitch had some good movement on it, breaking in hard. He's throwing a nasty sinker.
One guy who's not in the game for Houston, but is a non-roster invitee for the Astros, Diori Hernandez. Another healthy cut by Ugla. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Braves on top 10-1. Johan Flande now warming up in the Atlanta pen.
Another guy on the Astros in their organization, Delano DeShields Jr. First round pick a year ago.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Wilton Lopez with a 1-2-3 inning. Been a while since the Astros have had one of those. Braves still lead it 10-1. to be with you here. Braves on top 10-1. Which Southern team has a shot at the World Series? You can vote on our poll at css-sports.com and be entered to win a trip to Trip 44 to Florida, presented by visitflorida.com. Log on today, css-sports.com. Johan Flande is the new pitcher for the Braves, the left-hander who has spent most of his time in Gwinnett, at least last season. We saw Johan Flande both as a starter and as a reliever. And he will try to hold the fort here as Jurrjens in position to win his first game of the spring. He was sensational today. We look forward to talking to Jair later on this inning. Flande delivers a fastball a little off the plate.
Flande was one of those guys when we were watching him that you would love to see be more aggressive, go strike one, get ahead of hitters, and be more efficient. We saw him last year. He threw a lot of pitches early in the games.
He's had a good spring thus far.
I mean, this kid really has some good stuff. I mean, you just saw that hard slider breaking away. He has good velocity on his fastball. A decent changeup.
Broken bat roller to the left of the bag at third. His likely destination will be Gwinnett, where he spent most of last season.
Did I say he can throw that hard fastball to get in your kitchen? Right here. Wow. Splitting that wood.
Two pitch right through the hole and in the left field. So the leadoff man is aboard off of Flande, and as we mentioned earlier, Jurrjens with a great outing today, dominating in his 6 innings of work, and he joins us now for the Braves dugout. Jair, has to feel awfully good to get that first good start of the spring off your chest here.
What's up, guys? Yeah, I've been struggling the whole spring training, and finally everything is clicking. It's really fun.
Jair, BJ, man,
what's up,
you look great today, man. The thing that makes me nervous about you is running the bases. I mean, because, you know, I had a meniscus tear, and I know rounding those bases could hurt. How did it feel for you today? Is the knee sore after all this action?
No,
opening day.
Thank God, everything went well. I didn't feel anything pitching or running. My night feels good too, and then I'm going back there and try to get my work in and go home.
Jair, looks like every pitch was going for you pretty well today. Anything in particular you were working on?
Just, I think I just wanted to build my confidence today. Just trusting myself, trusting my stuff. Don't worry about the speed. Just hitting my spot, and it worked today.
Looked like you were more aggressive. I mean,
yes.
It was so important for you to go strike one. You had good movement on every pitch.
Yes, that's the thing that I've been lacking in spring training. Getting ahead or hitting my spot, and today I say, like, you know, just concentrate on strike and hit my spot. Don't worry about velocity.
When you go back to last season, and obviously the injuries were a factor, as they often are in anything, but you were so good in the first half, as good as any starting pitcher in baseball, and obviously the second half things changed dramatically. How much of that was the injury, and how much of it were other factors?
Completely was the injury. Was my knee stopped getting sore. The soreness didn't want to go away. We tried to do everything we can to get the soreness to go and calm down, but I wasn't able. I didn't have any muscle in my quad, and it made it difficult for my knee to react good on the treatments.
When you look at this season and the rotation, a couple of changes. Derek Lowe gone now. Mike Minor in good position. Tim Hudson, of course, will be out for most of April. Size up the rotation for us. Are you excited about what you're able to offer?
I'm just going to try to help this team out, help the bullpen as much as I can, and try to go deep in the game, and try to be a mentor for these young kids coming up.
Well, Jair, what is the trainers, Freddie Gonzalez, telling you as far as, you know, again, I still fear you running the bases. Have they told you to let up you know, your at bats. It looked like you were aggressive, and you look like you're so competitive. You want to hit a home run every time you're up there. Have they told you to kind of ease up?
No. In a way, I've been trying to ease up the whole spring training. I think that's been making my doubting myself a little bit. And today, I just wanted to be aggressive in everything I do, and you know, test the knee out. You know, if it's gonna go, he's gonna go anyway. If I try to be careful.
Jair, how about this year's team? I mean, last year was such a gut-wrenching finish to the season, and it seems like a lot of you guys have used that as some motivation for 2012. Would that be accurate?
Yes. You know, the thing happened to us last year was a heartbreaker for us, and this year we're just coming in and try to have fun, take it day by day, game by game, and try to get some W.
What's something about this year's team from a personnel standpoint that excites you maybe that you didn't have in years past?
You know, we're young kids. We're going to have a lot of young kids. We got Malcolm Bourne from the start from the season. You know, that's going to help a lot, have the speeder on top of your lineup. And Ugla coming in the second year of his contract. I think he's more comfortable now being near. And, you know, everybody's healthy so far, knocked on woods. And, you know, we're excited for this season to start.
Lastly, Jair, how many more starts are we looking at here in spring training?
I think I got one more or two more, I think. I don't know. I'm just taking day by day. I really don't try to overthink too much right now. I'm trying to start having fun again.
That's like Bull Durham. Don't think, just throw. I hear you. Well, Jair, congratulations on a great outing today, and good luck to you this season.
Thank you, guys.
You got it. Jair Jurrjens joining us.
Prado just made an excellent play, diving to the line and just getting up and throwing a bullet over to Freddie Freeman for the out. I mean, this looked like awesome, man. I tell you, moving from left field right into third base, making great plays. Easy transition for Martin Prado.
Prado's been a starting second baseman, starting left fielder. As you see, Jair Jurrjens leaving for the day. Appreciate him taking out the time before exiting stage right. We got a chance to speak with some more players in our future games, including next week. Braves and Phillies, that'll be a lot of fun. A lot of talk about all the injuries the Phillies are having right now. Chopper, Prado busy again. Picks it, fires it, and retires. The Astros here in inning number 7. It's stretch time here at Champion Stadium. The Braves in the lead. 10-1 our score. Seventh, all Atlanta today. 10 runs on 10 hits. Jurrjens outstanding on the mound. He stands to win this one, unless the bullpen has a heck of a time against the Astros, who have struggled to score today. Just 1 run on 4 hits. New pitcher for Houston is David Carpenter, a right-hander. Hurry and get your seats for opening day on April the 13th, presented by PNC Bank. Take in the opening day festivities and stay for Friday night fireworks presented by Publix. Tickets on sale now at braves.com/tickets or by calling 1-800-745-3000. How did we get to 10-1? If you're just joining us, the Braves, an onslaught of home runs early. Dan Ugla in the first, high off the scoreboard. Then in inning number 3, a couple of long balls. First, some of the defense Freddie Freeman with a great pick at first. Then McCann unleashing a home run into the right field corner. And then Freddie Freeman straight away center field over 400 feet in length. 3 home runs on the day. Jurrjens 7 strikeouts, in command throughout the ball game. Really just kept Houston off balance all game long. Freeman a home run and 3 at bats. 1 for 3, flat out to left twice. And he hits it again to left. This ball's got a chance. Back, and gone. Goodbye. Second home run of the day for Freddie Freeman. The 4th of the afternoon for Atlanta. And the Braves now lead it 11-1.
That's something that Freddie Freeman's been working on in batting practice, being able to drive the ball the other way with some authority. And man, he just stayed behind that ball, got the hands in. What can't he do? We saw the great defensive play, his 2nd home run of the day. And he gets some hugs from Dan Under.
Freeman with just 1 home run coming into this game, 2 today. A great defensive play. Perez, fast roller to short, vacuumed up. And the throw in time for the out. You know, some people were concerned when Freddie Freeman was coming up the ranks that he's going to be a great fielder. He's going to be a good average guy, but they were wondering if he had the power that first basemen tend to have these days. I think as he matures, Brian, this could be a guy that easily hits 30 home runs.
No question about it. He's going to be probably one of the potent power hitting right first baseman. I mean, this guy, like I said, when you can go the other way with power, you know, that's always been the hardest part. So he's making it look easy right now.
Jose Constanza, the pinch hitter. What a great story he was last year when he got the call from AAA Gwinnett. Chops one up the middle. Going to be a close play. Not in time. And little hesitation at second was all Constanza needed to beat it out.
And that's what he does so well. Put the ball in play, get that big hop. And with his speed, you better make a near perfect play. And good try by Gonzalez, but couldn't get it over there in time. Said that little hesitation cost you.
Pasternicki 1 for 3. Takes a fastball strike. Fly ball. Slicing to right center, but playable. Flag down by Bixler for out number 2. Brian, I'm going to let you tell everybody at home watching everything you can about the new batter for the Braves.
And who do we have here? Yaz.
Jose Yepez.
Yepez. Well, he's a prospect. And he's 4 for 11. He's having a pretty good spring.
Well done.
Spring. Yeah.
Well done. Grounded to third. And nicely dug out at first for out number 3. We could safely say he's not a speedster. Braves leading it. Another homer by Freeman. 11-1 our score. Braves 11-1 to score. It's been Freddie Freeman day. 2 home runs on the day. 1 to straightaway center, 1 to left field. And when you watch this swing, it's a thing of beauty, isn't it?
Well, like, you got to watch his great defense first, though. Now the power stroke is out there. He just goes down and gets it. He has an uppercut swing, power to all fields. This is going to be a big year for Freddie Freeman.
Now batting, second baseman Scott Moore.
The new pitcher for the Braves, Ryan Butcher. And we have about as much information on he as we do as the last batter for the Braves.
All we know is he's a prospect.
That's right. And we can assume he's left-handed based on that pitch right there, which is a fastball strike at 90 miles per hour. We are now told it's pronounced Buchter. Buchter.
Well, Buchter has some pretty good stuff. Led off with that fastball, and he threw a tight curveball in there. And he has a clue. He went up the ladder with a fastball, changed the eye level of the hitter. And let's see if he goes down and away. Wow.
That looked pretty good.
Pretty good stuff.
Like a hot knife through butter.
Not afraid to throw inside. I like it. He just challenged the hitter here with a fastball up over the hands, inside. Tough pitch to catch up to.
Ryan Buchter, number 82. Slow roller to second. 2 up, 2 down. And don't forget, you can tune in to great SEC baseball matchups every week, featuring nationally ranked teams, presented by Regions Bank. This Friday, number 3 Arkansas takes on number 13 LSU. That's right here on CSS. A lot of people think Arkansas might have the best bullpen in college baseball. Arkansas and Florida both outstanding bullpens. We won't see the outstanding triumvirate today of O'Flaherty, Kimbrell, and Venters. None of them slated to pitch today. Lazy fly to right center. And Ryan Buchter, a few more innings like that, and everybody's going to be pronouncing his name correctly. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Braves leading it 11-1. Braves leading at 11-1 here at Champion Stadium in Lake Buena Vista, Florida on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. He's Brian Jordan. I'm Mike Morgan. Great to be with you. Hope you're enjoying it like we are. We only wish you could be here. Speaking of being somewhere good, how about watching the Braves? Now, they will not start at home this year. The home opener at Turner Field will take place on April the 12th. The Braves will start off on the road at New York and then at Houston, two teams that really are undergoing some severe changes. The Mets, it's been well documented some of the issues they've had with the front office and everything else. They have shed some payroll, and most people actually have the Mets picked dead last in the Eastern Division. That just seems strange and unusual, Brian.
But it's realistic. You look at that lineup and you look at their leader, David Wright. He's already on the shelf with abdomen pull, and he had back problems. So, I mean, your best player is out of the lineup. You get rid of Jose Reyes in the offseason. I mean, they have a lot of young players.
Durango hits one in the gap for extra bases. He can fly, folks, and he's going to turn on the Jets, go for three, and he's there safely. Durango, the pinch hitter, with a leadoff triple.
And Luis Durango's been very impressive also this spring. I mean, this kid has impressed a lot of people. You know, he has great speed, but he's swinging the bat pretty good.
His game is a lot like Constanza's.
Exactly.
Like
from the right side.
Right. He's been swinging a good bat to complement that speed.
A lot of options for the Atlanta Braves in the outfield.
Prado takes a hack at the first pitch. Michael Bourne's day is done. Durango likely to stay in the game, plays center. Prado looking for his third hit of the afternoon. The Braves have pounded out 13 hits today. 4 home runs, 2 off the bat of Freddie Freeman. There's a fastball strike. New pitcher for the Astros is Wesley Wright, a left-hander. You see the numbers on Wright in 6 innings of work. We're at that point of the game where you're going to see a lot of names and high numbers.
I love it when a fan, a little girl, makes a good play and get the ball, lifts her hands up and screams out loud. And the guy in front of her took all the punishment by missing the ball.
Prado hitting .260 last year, and again, it's abundantly clear to everybody that he's just a much better hitter than that. His career numbers would show you that, and if you just watch this guy and his approach at the plate, there's nothing about it that says really anything lower than, say, the 280s. Line drive right at the center fielder, has to stab it for the out. Durango stays at third.
Good at bat for Martin Prado. He's locked in on every pitch, hitting every ball hard all over the field. This is a different Martin Prado this year. He's going to be very aggressive. He knows, you know, Michael Bourne and him talked this spring, and Michael Bourne told him, don't worry about me. Be yourself. Be aggressive. And don't change anything. And that's the attitude Martin Prado has.
Now another pinch hitter, Josh Wilson, who signed with the Braves as a minor league free agent heading into this season. Spent last year at 3 different stops. He was in Reno, then he played for Arizona. 6 games with the Diamondbacks, 54 games with the Milwaukee Brewers. He hit .227 for the Brew Crew. 356 career games in the majors for Josh Wilson. When you start looking at those final spots on the roster, you talked about Peraza. Drew Sutton's a guy that is looking pretty good for one of those utility spots. So he is so versatile. He's on deck right now.
I mean, he's fighting for that 5th spot too. I think Freddie likes this guy. Like you said, he's versatile. Can play everywhere. So he's getting a good look also. A lot of options though for Freddie. I mean, it depends on whether you're looking at speed, you're looking at guys who can play everywhere, power. It's going to be a tough decision.
I think one of the things we saw last year, how important a bench can be when you look at the St. Louis Cardinals. They had a lot of injuries. They had some guys that didn't play particularly well, but they had options late in the year, guys that stepped up late.
Well, you know, those September call-ups, you know, a lot of teams are not familiar with those guys, and give Tony La Russa a lot of credit. He used every one of them.
Not a good out there, as Durango is still stranded at third now with 2 outs. Braves fans new this year: buy a ticket plan and receive 33% off food and beverages at Turner Field. Visit Braves.com/tickets or call 404-577-9100 to purchase your season ticket package today.
In this situation right here, Mike, we were talking about not getting the job done late in the game. Here it is. Durango leads off with a triple. You know, Martin Prado hit the ball very hard, lined out to center field, but you got to be able to get this run in. 2 outs or less.
And the Braves are unable to do it here in the 8th. Durango stranded at third. Braves still in the lead, 11-1 as we head to the 9th. Great day of baseball for the Atlanta Braves, leading it 11-1 behind great pitching from Jurrjens and 4 home runs, including 2 from Freddie Freeman. If you're tired of the same old sports talk, tune in to Sports Night for a unique perspective that's informative and entertaining. That's Sports Night weeknights at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. The new pitcher for Atlanta, HOU Asensio, who went back and forth last year with the Braves and AAA Gwinnett. His 26 saves led the Braves farmhands, and his 1.81 earned run average ranked 4th among Braves minor league relievers. He did appear on the big club roster on 3 separate occasions and certainly has a chance to make the big club this year as well. New batter for the Astros, Jonathan Villar. Asensio, a hard thrower. And he starts off right away 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
And on the inner half of the plate. If Villar would swing at that, his bat would have been sawed off.
Strike two.
Asensio got away with one. Ball up in the zone a little bit.
This guy's been in the Braves organization for a while now. He signed as a minor league free agent in 2007. Pitched for Lynchburg for a couple of years. Then Mississippi. Then Gwinnett for the last 3 years with a couple of cups of coffee in Atlanta in 2 different seasons, both 2011 and 2009. In 2010, he was on the restricted list. He did not play. But he's got 98 saves in the minors. And certainly velocity is not a problem with Asensio. It's out of the Dominican Republic. Dribbler toward first. Freeman is there. Why not? He's done a little bit of everything today.
Surprise, Freddie Freeman and Martin Prado still hanging in there.
Well, the Braves have their 1 day off of the entire spring training tomorrow. No game tomorrow for the Braves. Well, everybody will get a chance to rest up. And again, we'll be back with you a week from today against the Phillies.
I remember that day off, Mike. Guys would try to arrange some flights and go home for that 1 day and get back in time to get ready to play on Tuesday.
This ball hammered to right. A 1-out single. Gobert aboard.
Justin Ruggiano up at the plate.
One of the few regulars still in the lineup for the Astros.
This guy's trying to make the team. Last year in a Tampa organization. We got a chance to see him out in Gwinnett. He went up and down with Tampa.
Ruggiano is 0 for 3 today. Not a bad looking breaking ball. Didn't miss by much. Braves typically carry 12 pitchers on their 25-man roster. And this guy could be one of the 12. Hammered in the left, a base hit, 2 aboard.
Well, if he continues to keep that fastball up in the zone, he might not be, Mike. He's going to have to get that ball down.
TJ Steele, the pinch hitter for the Astros.
This is a situation where you need a ground ball. Throw that hard sinker.
The one thing that has really prevented Asensio from being a major leaguer, he's had some control problems. Last year in 54 2/3 as a closer, he walked 22. Now he's been good with traffic on the diamond. He had an ERA of 1.81. He had 26 saves, but that just won't work at the big league level.
Well, every pitch he's throwing right now is up in the zone. I mean, he's going to get tattooed. It's really not following through on his pitches.
Tapped foul, 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count. Braves looking for their 8th win of the spring and their 3rd over the Astros. Braves are down to 39 players as of today. Some more cuts will be coming here soon. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 1 out away from victory here for Atlanta.
That's that sinker I was talking about. Good drop to that ball. The young TJ still just couldn't handle it.
Chris Wallace, the final hope for the Astros, a backup catcher. Asensio crossfires outside. You see him wearing the face mask helmet there. Brian, you could appreciate that as a two-sport guy.
I can, man.
How come you didn't wear a face mask when you played?
You know what? That would be a distraction. It's taking me all I can to see the ball with that screen in my face. I don't think I could see it. But obviously he's probably been hit in the face before, and, you know, I don't blame him. Oh, that has to be tough.
I'd be wearing an armored suit if you put me in the batter's box against a guy that throws heat like Asensio.
Well, it has to be scary, though. If you get hit in the face, man, it's just tough to come back from that. And if you're in the children's books, you can buy mine, Overcoming the Fear of the Baseball.
Yes.
I was hit as a little kid, and I was scared to get back in there.
Now available in paperback, as I understand.
No, hardback.
Oh, just hardback? Okay. Sorry, I thought you expanded. Braves 1 strike away now. 2-2 the count.
But the moral to the story is, Mike,
yes,
by trying again, I was able to play 15 years of Major League Baseball. Wow.
That's a good moral. I like it. 2-2, got him. Strike 3 call, and the Braves win it by a final score of 11-1. 4 home runs, including 2 by Freddie Freeman, and a great performance by Jurrjens, who picks up his first win of the spring. We'll put a bow on this one when we return.